It's been a few months since we first got our hands on the Jackery 1000 V2 solar generator, and it became our go-to power hub for camping trips, weekend projects, and a couple of power outages has given us a much better sense of what it's really like to own. Specs can look impressive when something's brand new, but they only tell part of the story. Over time, the real value comes from how easy it is to live with, how dependable it feels, and whether you actually reach for it when the lights go out or you're packing the truck. So let's cut to the chase and learn how it held up the last few months of use. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's begin. Now, one of the major things that stood out to us, which still feels like a win, is the emergency supercharge. Jackery claims it can go from empty to full in about an hour, and in our experience, that's held true. We've used it enough to notice that consistency matters a lot more than we first realized. It seemed to us this is where the 1000 V2 separates itself from other power stations we've tried. Most of those feel like you're waiting half a day to charge, which means you start rationing power instead of using it freely. With this unit, we've found ourselves more willing to run heavier appliances because topping it back up doesn't feel like a chore. Charging it with the Jackery Solar Saga was also very intuitive, and the 200-watt solar panels worked well, recharging the whole unit in less than 4 hours. The two-way 60-watt PD charging has also become more valuable than we expected. At first, we thought of it as a bonus feature, but over time it's become the default way we charge our laptops and cameras on trips. We found that plugging straight into the USB-C port delivers power quickly enough that we stopped carrying separate adapters. For us, that's not just convenience, it cuts down on gear clutter. When we first looked at the 1070 watt-hour capacity and 1500 watt output, it seemed like plenty for camping and short outages. After months of use, we'd say it's a comfortable middle ground. We've run multiple heavy camping gadgets and electronic devices without stressing about draining it too quickly. During an outage at home, it carried our router, laptop, and even a small heater long enough to keep things comfortable until power returned. What we noticed is this: the 1000 V2 isn't about running your whole house, and it never pretends to be. To us, it feels like the right size for bridging gaps, keeping essentials going during outages, or giving you reliable power on camping trips without dragging around a 40-pound unit. For bigger needs, sure, you'd move up to a larger Jackery or a competitor. But for everyday situations, this model feels like the sweet spot. At about 22 pounds or 10 kilograms, it didn't feel ultra-light at first, but after using it for a while, the weight seemed less of an issue. Compared to older models and other brands we've tried, the compact design makes it surprisingly easy to move around. We found it comfortable enough to carry from the garage to the living room during a blackout, or to toss in the car for a weekend trip. What matters most to us is that we don't hesitate to bring it, whereas heavier power stations sometimes get left behind because they're just too bulky. And yeah, once the handle is folded, it creates a nice even surface that can be used as a tabletop. The shift to a lithium iron phosphate battery is something we've grown to appreciate more with time. Early on, the 4,000 cycles claim sounded like marketing, but now we see why it matters. In theory, even if we use it for 10 years, it'll still have more than 70% of battery health left. And then again, Jackery's 5 years warranty is still there, so we didn't have to worry about it failing in at least 5 to 10 years. To us, knowing that we can drain and recharge it regularly without wearing it out gives more confidence to use it freely. With older lithium-ion stations we've had, we always felt like we had to baby them, saving cycles for important times. With the 1000 V2, that worry doesn't cross our mind as much. It seemed to us this design is meant to be used, not tucked away like an emergency-only gadget. A couple of features we didn't think much about at first have turned out to be genuinely useful. The built-in UPS is one of them. We tested it early on, but over the months it's been reassuring knowing it's there. Once, during a storm, our router and desktop PC were plugged in, and the switchover happened so fast that nothing flickered. To us, that reliability adds value far beyond camping. It makes this unit part of our home setup. The LED light is another. At first glance, a light on a power station felt like an afterthought, but in practice, we've used it more often than expected. Whether it's finding gear in the back of the truck at night or just lighting up the living room during an outage, the 500 lumen output has proven practical. It seemed to us this feature isn't a gimmick. It's one of those little touches that just makes life easier. The Jackery app hasn't become essential, but it does make things smoother. We check the screen on the unit most of the time, but on trips, we found the app handy for seeing detailed input, output, without bending over the unit or moving it around. To us, the app feels like icing on the cake. Simply, it's useful, but not something we'd call a deal breaker either way. Over time, what we've appreciated most is how mistake-proof this design feels. The reverse polarity protection, spark-proofness, and multiple safety layers aren't things you notice every day, but they mean we don't think twice about who's using it. We've let kids and less tech-savvy family members plug in devices without worry. To us, that peace of mind is part of the value. It's built to be safe, and that shows in day-to-day use. Even if you plan to use it for emergency home backup or power outages, this can be a good option to choose. And speaking of so, we'd recommend getting Jackery's exclusive dual product bundle, where you can literally get the biggest discount of the Prime Big Deal days, up to 65% off. We'd say it's perfect for essential home backup. It can power multiple rooms at once, so your family stays worry-free no matter where you are. It's not all perfect. The size is compact for what it delivers, but for short trips or casual use, the Jackery Explorer 300 still feels like the easier grab-and-go option. The 1000 V2 is small enough compared to other power stations in this range, but it's still a bit more than you'd want to carry for quick weekends. To us, that's not a flaw, just a reminder that no one unit fits every scenario. If you're serious about camping and want to run heavier gear, it's the right call. If you just want something light for phones and lights, you may find yourself reaching for a smaller model. After living with it, the Jackery 1000 V2 doesn't feel like a flashy gadget anymore. We'd rather say, it feels like a dependable tool. We've used it enough to stop thinking about whether it will handle the job. For outages, trips, and even projects away from outlets, it's become part of our standard kit. To us, that's the real test of gear. Do we keep reaching for it months later? Or does it sit in the corner collecting dust? This one has proven it belongs in the rotation. And in case you're thinking of getting one, the upcoming Prime Day deal has about a 65% discount on it. So, we think it's a solid deal here. So, yeah, that was all about the Jackery 1000 V2 Solar Generator after months of use. Thanks for watching. Feel free to reveal your thoughts in the comments section and share this video if you find it helpful. And to know more about outdoor products, reviews, and buying guides, you can visit our website, GoOutdoorZone.com.